Welcome back to Hope TV, and today we're having an homage to Jerry Lewis. Today is August 20th, 2024. Jerry Lewis, as you know, was born in Newark, New Jersey, and for almost 49 years ran the MDA and the telethon that everybody knows that ran on Labor Day weekend. And he did so much for the muscular dystrophy community that today I thought it was important that we keep his memory alive and we talk about Jerry Lewis, his work, and then nowadays the people that are affected by such diseases. So I'm here with my co-host Kimberly Buck, as well as we brought Shannon back with us today to continue our conversation.
Good morning, guys.
Nice to have you back.
Thank you. Great to be back.
So this is a live audience. This is the different component as the
Yes,
last time.
it's a little more nerve-wracking.
So we have a lot of feedback happening. But you're now you're a pro, so you've been on camera now. So if you could tell us about when we first told you about this, about this occasion today. I think it was actually the idea was actually when you were here in studio, and we were saying how fantastic it was to have you and Jake in studio. Can we talk about the importance of just awareness?
It's huge because with awareness brings inclusion. If you don't know about something, you don't know how to include. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we strive to do with Jake's Got This is at our events, like our baseball game, police play fire, and then we have a team of our warriors come out. And it gives the community a chance to see, wow, even though this boy or this girl is in a walker or in a wheelchair, they're killing that softball. They're making it around those bases. There's so much they can do. And it's just a matter of people don't know. They automatically assume because a person is in a walker, a wheelchair, might have braces on a leg or an arm, that, they must not be able to do anything. So why include them, or why some people actually, we just ran into this very recently, a few times in a matter of 2 weeks, which was odd for me, where parents didn't want to or were afraid to invite Jake to different events because they didn't want to hurt his feelings because they didn't think he could do something. And then when they found out he could, they were like, oh, really? It's okay? Mm-hmm. Like that.
Right. You're easing the burden for everybody around you and for Jake.
Yeah.
And I give you a lot of credit for that. Now, here I am. I'm in the Duchenne space, and I'm in Manalapan, and you're in Jackson. And believe it or not, I'm watching through social media to what you're doing, and I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm very proud of you for what you're doing. Because having a child with Duchenne, right, I'm very fearful, and I don't know if you go through these same emotions, right? I'm very fearful of putting my son out there. At the same time, I want him out there to play. But for children with Duchenne, if they break a leg, they'll never walk again.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have those same concerns for Jake?
Absolutely. With all of the surgeries he's had so far, it's terrifying when he's like, I want to play soccer. I want to go to the baseball game.
How do you find that fine line?
It's like, oh my God, okay. And my stomach is in my throat the whole time he's out there because although it's not as severe as the result of if Jamesy was hurt in the same sport, I look at it going, all the work we've done to get to this point, all the surgeries to this point, you break that leg, we start
square one
all the way back at the beginning of that surgery, the beginning of that PT. And even with us, you break an arm, you break a finger, that finger's just not the same. So then it's like, where will he be once we start all over from square one, and how long is it going to take us to get back to that point? Right. So of course that scares me. But at the same time, I feel like if I hold him back from that, that's not fair to him as a kid. He's a kid too. He wants to do the things that his friends are doing. Sure. So that's not fair to him. And it also stops other parents and other kids from being able to see what he can do.
God bless you, because that's an internal struggle. I don't know how you
Very
do
much
it.
So.
It's tough. On an hourly by hourly basis, that's a tough decision to make for our children. And you made mention earlier that there's a competition, unfortunately, which is good. These kids are turning a bad thing into something fun, where they're actually talking about how many surgeries each one of them has.
Oh boy.
Yes. Jake has an amazing physical therapist at school. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because when Jake first started in school and he had PT, I didn't count that as PT. to me, it just wasn't. They were working, from what I was told, it was how to navigate the school. So when doctors would say to me, does he have PT? I'd ramble off all the outpatient stuff. And they were like, well, what about school? And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it's not like top of the list.
No. And then I'd gotten to know his school PT when he entered elementary. Then COVID hit. That was probably one of the best things for her and I, for me to understand her and just how much she did, because they transferred everything to online, and in order to keep the IEP legal, he had to do PT online at 7.
PT online.
Yeah,
that's
try to do PT online with a 7-year-old.
It doesn't even seem to make
For
sense
25
to me.
minutes.
Right, and how was it successful? I mean, doing it online, could that even work?
For me and her, yes. Because
Yeah.
we got a lot of, she gave me ideas on what to do with them. He
Okay.
lasted about 3 minutes and then was like, I'm bored. I'm
Yeah,
out."
exactly.
One of the great things she did, other than give me all these ideas and ways to work with him at home through COVID, she realized a lot of the kids in the district with these gross motor disabilities were really struggling to be out of that environment with their friends, to be out with no therapists, no support really. So she actually, on her own time, started this chat group of, I think there's 8 of you guys, 7 or 8 of them, kids that are all different ages. Because of Jake's maturity level, he is in with the older kids of this group. And she gets them online together. And during COVID, it was once or twice a week. But even after COVID ended, they all still wanted to keep going. So they do. And if somebody has a bad day, they shoot her a text, Natalie, this happened in PT, or I just found out about this, can we get it together? And she sends a text out, gets all the kids, gets them on a Google Meet, and they complain about their therapists together. They complain about their paras together. Unfortunately, they've started this competition. It's who had more surgeries.
Cracks me up. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But in a way, it's so nice, and we're going to talk about that in our next segment, about the new appreciation of a community and support.
It's huge.
So we'll
It's huge
discuss
for
that in our next segment. So I believe we're actually going to invite another guest on. If you could share a little bit about her before we move to a break.
Absolutely. Not only do the kids need a community, we do as well too. And when Jake was diagnosed at 13 months, I found myself spiraling, going, who do I talk to? Where do I go? Where do we start? One of the positive sides of social media is it does allow you to reach out to people everywhere. So I happened to be online asking some questions, and this woman jumped in, started answering some of these questions, found out she lived in Jersey, not that far from me, and we have kept in touch ever since.
Like
She
guardian
has a
angel.
child in your community
Yes.
as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, has a daughter, Brooke, who's amazing, and her and Jake have become good friends over the years. Her mom, Michelle, who was my friend over the years, it's, hey, this came up and I found out about this for Brooke. You got to try it for Jake. All right. Hey, this came out for Jake. You got to try it for Brooke.
Incredible.
That is fantastic.
So we pass that info along, and when our kids have those bad days, we have those bad days. But then they have their
You have
Google
each other
Meet.
to lean on.
We have each other going, you're not going to believe what happened. Because she does. It's one thing for me to call a friend without a child with special needs and go, you won't believe what happened today. And they're like, oh, yeah, that
Right.
stinks.
Whole
And
different ballgame.
maybe they have some sympathy and they can say they understand, but they don't.
Sure.
When I call Michelle and I'm going off, she doesn't go, oh yeah. She's like, oh man, and
She
she
did
can
it.
jump right in that anger with me because she gets it on that level, which is a different ballgame.
And she's here, so we're going to get a
She
chance to
is.
meet with her. So, yes.
So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. I think this will be a great piece for the 3 ladies to have this conversation, all the moms. And we'll be right back with some more Hope TV to inspire each and every one of you out there. If you're going through something, you're not going through it alone. We have a great hashtag at Jar of Hope called Together We Can. We'll be right back.
Good job, Jake. Nice.